Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Jarvis Escott with What's Happening Birmingham. Today I got the honor and pleasure of having Suzanna Fritzberg and Ken of Bham Strong on podcast today. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Great. I wanted to bring you all on because this is a great organization that is making things happen in Birmingham during COVID-19, and they're more than a hashtag, everybody. So I know a lot of times people have seen the hashtag, they've seen the t-shirts, so I want to bring them on to kind of share with us today about some great things and some community updates. So before we start, let's get a little introduction because we've seen these faces around Birmingham, especially seeing this man on my left, Mr. Ken from the mayor's office. So Suzanna, just introduction, welcome to the podcast. Can I tell people about yourself?
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm glad to be in Birmingham. I'm from Seattle originally, so a little farther away, but really came down here at the beginning of the crisis. My background's in local government, and was just so impressed by the leadership that the mayor and the community and folks here were bringing to this issue. So there was, I think, an opportunity to frankly try something new that was coming alongside the Birmingham community and empowering folks to be part of the response. So it's been an adventure and a joy to be here. I'm grateful to share the work with colleagues like Ken, and excited to talk a little bit more with you today about it.
Okay, so Ken, tell folks a little bit more about yourself as well.
Well, Jarvis, thank you again for having us, and you are a stalwart in this community. Folks know you, people respect you. Your platform is one that I think people would be remiss if they had a message they want to get out to the community if they didn't stop by and see you. So thank you for having us and allowing us an opportunity to come on and talk about this pandemic and the city's response to it in part. So again, my name's Ken. For the last 3 or 4 years, I served the mayor's office as the director of external affairs. You may have seen me out in the community basically advocating on behalf of the mayor's agenda, his mission statement. The theme of the city obviously is putting people first. Was our primary focus. As the director of external affairs, my primary role was to make sure that we were engaged, and that is my background, community engagement. And so the work that I'm doing now with Bham Strong is not a far cry from that at all. In fact, it's a continuation of what I've always done, and that is making sure that people and resources are connected with one another, and we are out advocating for folks and making sure people get the information they need and the help they need. So this is really just a continuation again. Bham Strong is a private-public partnership between the city government and private entities, too many to name, lots of angel funders, but it all came together to address or respond to this pandemic, and I'd love to get into that, but that is basically who I am, where I'm from.
All right, so let's go back maybe like 6 months ago, back in March when this all happened, and kind of Ken and Suzanna kind of how this all kind of came about, and the stages, because first it started off as necessary financial aid for businesses, but also expanding to other things. So
yeah, so and I'll let Suzanna just chime in because she's been instrumental with Bham Strong since day one. I came on board back in June or so, and so I will say this: Birmingham's response to the pandemic has been exceptional. It has been well thought out. It has been one that no one really could have anticipated the breadth and depth of this pandemic and the impact that it's had on the city of Birmingham. And so I'm very thankful that due to the leadership of the city government and private sector partners and folks like Suzanna willing to lean in and stand up this organization, we have something that a lot of folks, a lot of cities around the country don't have. We have a true partnership, a true service corps organization where people are making a difference and helping to close the gap between people out there who are being dramatically impacted by this pandemic. I don't have to tell you, Jarvis, or your audience, that the city of Birmingham is uniquely situated, not necessarily in a good way, but it's uniquely situated to be very negatively impacted by a pandemic. The city is over 70% African American. We have high poverty. We have folks that are unemployed or underemployed or underskilled. And so this pandemic really attacks people with pre-existing conditions and lack of access to adequate health care and fresh food and public transportation. It impacts them dramatically different than it may in a lot of other communities. Not to mention Birmingham's economy is one that's that's built in large part based on public service, if you will. The service industry, administrative positions and roles, those are some of the hardest hit industries and employment sectors that have been impacted by this pandemic. And so that's a mouthful, and that's just a way to kind of set the stage for what happens when a pandemic hits a city like Birmingham. It impacts, if you've seen, disproportionately. And so a lot of our folks are being hospitalized, are having to being laid off, and so just the fact that the mayor's office had the vision and the foresight to be able to create a program like this one, and basically pass the baton on to very smart people that have the skill and the bandwidth and experience to stand up in an organization like this. And we basically focus on three things. Our primary mission is to basically create and promote economic resiliency, and also public health. And so Suzanna has a great amount of experience in those two lanes. And so my role as the director of community engagement is to tell the story and to make sure people know about the Birmingham Service Corps and know about how we help people, how we help small businesses, how we help nonprofits, how we help people who are unemployed or being impacted by this pandemic. And so I don't want to steal Suzanna's thunder. Again, she's been here from day one, and she's done a yeoman's job, majority of the heavy lifting prior to today, and she's continued to guide this organization through tomorrow. So Suzanna, I just want to allow you to be able to share with Jarvis and his audience about how we got here. And
absolutely. Yeah. Well, you flatter me. I mean, we're I think I'm so glad to have the team that I do, and obviously Ken, your talent and leadership and frankly the connections you have in the community are such a big part of that, and making sure that our work is rooted with the communities that we exist to serve is kind of the first thing that's on our minds when we get up in the morning. So that's such a critical piece of it. Way back in March, which feels like a way back, I don't know that it is, I think that the city was really confronting, as Ken points out, the fact that there was kind of a unique danger in what was going to happen in cities like Birmingham because of COVID. And recognizing that there's sort of two primary issues. One, new needs are emerging every day. We don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to be food, or are people going to start to have hardships around rent? We're learning more about the virus and the science behind it and trying to figure out, okay, do you need to shut things down? Should we all be wearing masks? Do we have enough masks in the city? And at the same time, you have a lot of people who are experiencing unemployment or underemployment. Maybe they've had their hours cut, maybe they've been furloughed, maybe they've been let go related to COVID-19. So I think the city's goal was to take those two problems and say, what can we think about as a forum to address them? And so we were kind of incubated in partnership with the city, with SHIPT, and then with the Altec Seislinger Foundation, who are kind of our major donors, to start us up as a separate entity. We work closely with the three organizations I mentioned, but we're not kind of an arm of city government. To start thinking about the types of programs that would address the problems that I've talked about. So we've done a lot of things over our time, generally in partnership with great organizations that already exist in Birmingham. The biggest thing that we've focused on that has kind of evolved into our focus is the Birmingham Service Corps, where we seek folks who, like I said, are experiencing unemployment or underemployment related to COVID, and who have kind of a heart to serve and a desire to help, and place people into paid service opportunities, doing work related to the crisis, whether that's helping to sew PPE, create masks, whether it's helping to run a testing site, or being embedded with one of the nonprofits. We have so many excellent nonprofits in Birmingham that are doing kind of direct work related to COVID and maybe just need a little bit of a boost. They need a staff member or two to help support their operations. So we've, I think both Ken and I are excited to talk about kind of all of the things that we've done over time and how we've kind of honed that as the right fit. But again, I think it stemmed from the city recognizing a need and an opportunity, and really from the partnership, I think, of organizations and people across Birmingham wanting to know, how can I plug in? How can I help? Where is there a central point where we can come together for part of addressing this crisis?
Yeah, and I saw in the stats that you all gave me before the interview, 50,000 people lost their jobs due to COVID-19 just in Birmingham, which is possibly maybe more than that, which is very surprising. So back to the Service Corps, how many people have you helped so far as like employed or that's got involved with that program?
So we've made about 325 placements, a little
Okay.
over that, I think, of Birmingham residents in positions across the city. So those count the folks that have just been, officially placed into an opportunity with the Service Corps, and I'll ask Ken to talk a little bit more about kind of what those different placements look like. But then we know those are folks that, frankly, need the work, and that this isn't an opportunity for them to give back to their community. So about 90% of the members that we've placed we know are in part relying on the income from the Service Corps for their basic needs, rent, food, utilities, that sort of thing. And on average, Service Corps members have experienced about a 50% decrease in their income from before COVID to now. So these are folks that, as so many of us are feeling the pinch of the kind of economic consequences of the pandemic. And have stepped forward to say, I want to be part of something. And frankly, I'm going to try something a little new, recognizing we're new on the scene. The majority of folks that we've placed are people of color, the majority are Black. And we've had folks, really in positions across the city. And I'm excited to talk maybe more a little bit later about some of the other ways we've seen our impact in some of those partnerships. But that's that top line, 325 job placements. For folks that have gone through the Service Corps.
Yeah, and that's a really big deal. I mean, if a company were moving to Birmingham tomorrow and they were bringing 300 jobs, it'd probably be on the nightly news that 300 new jobs being added to Birmingham. But that is just a drop in the bucket to what the actual need is. But at the same time, it's a big deal. And to that end, that's just the beginning of our story. I mean, there is so much more, and we're glad to kind of get into the meat and some of the accomplishments we've had here. But to answer your question, Jarvis, 325 folks we've provided an opportunity for, and in Birmingham, like a lot of other cities, $400 or $500 a week is the difference between major economic turmoil for a lot of families. And so the fact that we've been able to help people who didn't have anything or needed help bridging the gap to help take care of some of the basic needs, 90% of the folks that we have that work for us, they have been able to attest that they've been better able to meet those basic needs they have for their families. And so for us, we take great pride in knowing that we are making a difference. We're serving people that look like you and I. We're helping folks that need it the most. And we're doing it in a way that's also creating a social impact for folks. A lot of these folks are working at nonprofits that are feeling the pinch, that are having new demands put upon them because of the pandemic. A lot of the folks they would normally serve, they can't reach. A lot of the folks they would normally serve, they're having a hard time contacting. And so they got new things, new requirements they have to now abide by when people come through. And so we've been able to help them increase their bandwidth and also help the Service Corps members feel good about the work they're doing. They're leaning in the community they support, they live in. We're impacting. We have folks from at least 70 plus neighborhoods, just about every single community within the city of Birmingham. And so that's something to be proud of. But again, that's not even the whole of the story. And so for us, it wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be successful without, platforms like this one, to be able to tell the story and be able to encourage people to sign up, to go to bhamstrong.com and sign up to join the Service Corps, to find out more about our organization. We're on all social media platforms. By all means, follow us, like us, share our content, and tell the story. Because again, at a minimum, 325 jobs is a big deal when you're helping people meet basic needs. And so, but again, the story doesn't stop there. We're involved with the COVID-19 test. We talk about promoting public health. We've been very involved with the Legion Field testing site. A lot of people know about that site, but it's not just the Legion Field testing site. We partner with other organizations like Alabama Regional Medical Services. They are very involved throughout the city of Birmingham, providing COVID-19 testing. Jefferson County Health Department, they're one of our public sector partners. And so we're partnering with them. And so we're not just about necessarily helping people find opportunity and employment and make a social impact on the communities they live in, but we're also about making sure that we are promoting public health, and economic sustainability is something we'd love to kind of get into a bit and what that looks like. It's a fancy word, but it really means thinking about the whole person, thinking about where they are in terms of the skills they have, making sure that when they are exposed to through different opportunities, they have a chance to learn something new, have an opportunity to be able to improve their resume skills or their resumes or their interview skills. And so we'd love to get into that as well, but I just want you to know the work that we're doing at Bham Strong is something that we want to stand on the rooftop, i.e. What's Happening Birmingham rooftop, and tell the world, join Bham Strong. Go to our website, go to our Facebook page, and don't take our word for it, but we're making a difference every single day, and we're glad to have an opportunity to talk more about it.
Okay, but I want to go back to the service course for a minute. So, what are some of the requirements to join a service corps?
Service corps, yeah.
Yeah.
It's real basic. If you're 18 or older and you live in Birmingham, you're eligible to apply.
That's it.
Not much more than that. I mean, we're interested in anyone from any professional background. And our opportunities run the gamut, and so sometimes there are times when someone comes in with a really particular skill set and we're excited that we're able to kind of leverage that. There are other times when someone is going to learn something completely different or participate in what for them is just an opportunity to kind of broaden their horizons. But it's come one, come all if you're 18 or older and you live in Birmingham.
Yeah, and the great news about it is a lot of our partners, people have been able to get full-time placements. So
that's the question I was going to ask you, was able to transition and pivot from like temporary to full-time?
Right. Typically, the term of the engagement, it ranges. On the nonprofit side, it's normally around 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
The nonprofit partners, that partnership is typically around $20 an hour for 8 weeks. Some of the other partnerships, they may be a little bit more, a little bit less, but by and large, most of the engagements are averaging, what would you say, Suzanna, 6 to 8 weeks by and large. And so we've had partners that have asked to extend, to go beyond that. We've had lots of partners that have brought folks on to hire them on full time with benefits. So it is not just a volunteer opportunity to feel good and to help out your community, which is incredible, but it's also a chance to Susanna's point earlier, a chance to actually improve your economic situation long term, and we have lots of stories and lots of people who have shared their experiences working with Bham Strong. That we share those on our social media. We take their we allow them to use that platform and be able to tell the story and let folks know how this has made a difference in their lives. And every time we get a chance, we talk about and we give our service corps members voice light, and we lift it up and we amplify that. And I know Suzanna probably has a lot more experience, talked to a lot of our members, and she's been able to kind of capture a lot of those stories and kind of share those things, and they've been very powerful.
Yeah, and I would encourage, if you go to our website, bhamstrong.com, there's a section that has some core member stories that we're really excited about. These are 4 profiles of folks that have gone through our programs, each with a slightly different experience, and I think that shows kind of the range of what's possible through the service corps, and to speak specifically about one woman in response to your question about long-term placements. So one of our core members, Yolanda, started with us, I think at the Birmingham Zoo. I know she's been in it. She was with a couple different placements, and she's local. She's a Phillips High grad. She'd been furloughed from her position. And she worked with us on a couple of projects, and the zoo offered her a full-time gig. And I think they knew, I'm going to be honest, from the day she arrived, we were hearing, oh my gosh, Yolanda is terrific. We're really excited that, we'd love to keep her on. So stories like that, I think, are the ones that Ken and I are most excited about. And that's what this is, right? I think our core members are so talented, and putting them in a position that showcases that talent, where an organization can see and experience the impact that they make, that's exciting to us, and I think it helps lead to more of those long-term opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's a great story. Yolanda, really, if you met her, I mean, you love her. I think she's tremendous, but I want to be clear that I'm a beneficiary of this program. To some extent, it's not just outdoor opportunities or opportunities that may seem like they're in the service sector, etc. These opportunities, they run the gamut. We have folks working at Pac Health, we have folks working in the restaurant industry, we have folks working all over at Hope Credit Union, we've had folks working at lots of different places, and so the Dannon Project, we have lots of opportunities where we're replacing people who not only want to feel good about the work during this pandemic and helping people, helping Birmingham get back to where it was, if not better. But there are folks out there who literally see this as a chance to really be able to push Birmingham through the next millennium into a different direction. We don't know how this thing's going to impact us when it's all over. It may very well be business as usual when everything finally resides one day, but it may require a brand new set of skills, a brand new perspective, a brand new way of life. And so I started out, I left the mayor's office, had an opportunity to do other things, and so I had their blessing to move on, and I just completed my third interview with another company. And the last interview was, you'll get a call next week from HR and you'll be able to start. Well, the next week I got that call was, due to COVID, the CEO has frozen the position nationally. And so I found myself in a situation where I was out and isolated. I mean, the economy at one point, unemployment in Alabama was very low. And to your point, 50,000 folks in the city of Birmingham alone have lost their jobs. And I was one of those folks. And so, fortunate for me, I saw the Birmingham Service Corps. I saw it as an opportunity to be able to help the community and help, obviously, bridge the gap between some economic needs that I personally may have had. And so, lo and behold, I had a chance to serve. I had a chance to meet the team. I had a chance to give back. And the funny thing about giving back is that good things happen sometimes when you give. And so, this opportunity came up for me to be the Director of Community Engagement. I met the team. They saw value in my experience and my background, and so we have been working together and to help bridge the gap for a lot of folks here in Birmingham. And so I just say that and tell my personal story just to let people know that you see Ken King, and you may have seen me around, but a lot of folks from all types of backgrounds could benefit from a program like this one, and that's why we're here today, Jarvis.
Well, I want to go back. Let's talk about, because when the program, I guess me from outside looking in, when it first got started, it was set up like a vehicle to assist businesses affected by COVID that needed business loans. Can you talk about the work you all have done to help save small businesses? I hate to say the word save, but to stabilize small businesses here in Birmingham, because I see a number 2,853.
Say that again.
2,853 businesses. Yeah.
That we've been able to do what with?
Help by Service Corps members.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that for me?
Yeah. That's been an important part of our work really since the beginning. And, I think the emergency loan program that was set up has a lot of important partners, the Community Foundation, the Business Association, obviously the city. Our role really has been around outreach and technical assistance to businesses. So you mentioned about 3,000, nearly 3,000, we can round up, businesses who have been touched in one way or another through the Service Corps. One of the first things we did when the news broke around the Federal CARES Act, which was such an opportunity for small business, right? The PPP loan was to say, well, who knows about this? And I'm going to bet it's big companies, it's the companies with a national presence. It's probably not your mom and pop shop. It may not be the businesses that are minority run and led. Right, because we know that the way these programs tend to work is that the folks who maybe have a little bit of a leg up are going to get the resources. And so it was very important to us to say, what can we do about that? And I think the city was very committed to that. So we actually stood up a call center and called every one of the businesses that was on the city's business license list and said, we want you to know these resources are out there. We want you to know that we will help you apply if you need that, if you want that technical assistance. And just making sure we got the news out, again, to say, okay, we're kind of a bridge to say there's a big federal resource out there. Our job, we're a connector in that mode. And then we actually extended that into a partnership with Hope Credit Union, where we've had a team of Service Corps members working there, working with Kendra Key and her team, helping to process those loan applications. So, one step, not just, do you know about this? Do you want to have a conversation about it? But, okay, you're getting your documents together, you're trying to figure out what the fine print means because it's really confusing. Let's sit with you and sort through, how to make this successful. So that's been one of our really most impactful partnerships. And really that I think has represented about $4 million in PPP loans that have gone to local small business through that specific partnership. So it's been a tremendously important part of our work, and I'll let Ken chime in if there's anything else he would add.
I think that's an important distinction about what we do. I like how you said that we bridge the gap, we connect, and so a lot of the resources that fund us outside of our traditional or initial set of funding, there's CARES Act funding, and the way the CARES Act funding works is that it needs to be dedicated to COVID-related things that are happening in your community. And so we serve as a conduit for a lot of folks that are looking to find ways to be able to address needs. And there is some level of assistance out there. And so we leaned in early on with a small business loan program to make sure that people knew how to apply for it, how to get it. And I think it's important to know, a lot of folks, I get emails sometimes or people reach out to us on our website and they ask, hey, I have this type of business. Can you send me 3 people? Can you give me $1 million? And so I think this gives us a platform to also kind of talk about what we don't do and how it actually works and what our primary focus is. When it comes to small businesses, our thing is we serve as a conduit for folks who were interested in applying for PPP loans. We help that call center, we put people to work, service corps members, 50 folks to work in the call center to actually make phone calls to small businesses to let them know, hey, we are here for you. Hope Credit Union has set up a platform to allow folks to really be able to apply for, to answer and ask questions. And so we did that on the front end. To Suzanna's point, that's a lot of money, $4 million that we felt like we were instrumental in helping people apply for. Jarvis, as a business owner, that sometimes that process can be,
because it's kind of hard to
figure it out.
Unless you have an accountant that's on deck, and the majority of these businesses did not have an accountant, which that's a whole nother story.
Right. So big shout out to Kendra Key over at Hope Credit Union, all of our partners to help support that effort. And so our primary function was helping educate people and give people information and help them navigate a difficult process. Now, beyond that piece, we've also tried to work very hard to, a lot of our nonprofit, we consider those businesses. We've had other engagements and pilot programs where we've worked with all types of entities where we've given people work and we help folks that needed to have additional staff. So we are very proud of the fact that we have a very diverse experience just in the small business sector. And obviously we can talk more about, not only the results that we've gotten there, but the difference that we made in the lives of the folks that actually work there.
Well, let's kind of talk about the results, think so far.
Yeah. So, Suzanne, you want to kind of?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about the nonprofit program. That's one of our, kind of flagships, and I think really reflects the recognition and frankly, like the asset that is our local nonprofit community. That these are folks who know the people they serve, they know their community. Their clients are going to show up and knock on their door if they're not there. And for us, this is an opportunity to say, okay, our mandate is COVID related, right? That we're saying we're here to build economic resilience. In the first instance, that's about COVID and thinking through the impact of how we come at it from a public health angle, how we think about the economic impact. And so many of our local nonprofits in Birmingham are doing work that's been impacted by COVID or is explicitly COVID related. So we, to date, have partnered with at least 30 nonprofits across the city that are engaged in work serving folks, related to the pandemic. So that's everything from Breakthrough Birmingham, which has, worked on obviously tutoring and education programs. We had some team members there helping with that shift to virtual, which is a big difference. We've had core members at Grace Klein Community helping with some of their work with, Community Care Development Network. The Offender Alumni Association, I think, has been one of our first. And I know there's a bunch of emerging partnerships that Ken's been really instrumental in. But yeah, I think for us it comes back to recognizing, we're here, our goal is to empower people. It's to empower service corps members to do the work that's necessary to the community. And it's to help empower some of our local organizations to deliver on their work with a boost in the form of a service corps member, recognizing they know what they're doing, they know the folks they serve. We have the opportunity to say, we have this particular mode that we can help you with and help kind of keep your work going. So that's I think one of the things that I've been most excited about.
Yeah, me too, because to me, you get a chance to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get a chance to provide employment opportunity for people who need it, At the same time, you have a nonprofit out there that has its own unique set of challenges, and they're finding themselves trying to get through this pandemic as well. And their clients that they serve, they're having a harder time meeting their needs. Mm-hmm. And so we thought, how can we, in the spirit of Birmingham, how can we, have a social impact and at the same time provide employment for people? And so I, just like Suzanna said, we are super excited about what we do with our nonprofits. And to that end, I want to say any nonprofit that's out there that feels like, hey, that's us. We have clients that we're trying to serve, and because of the pandemic, we have a whole new set of challenges that we're faced with. If you are a nonprofit and you want to find out about Bham Strong, go to bhamstrong.com. There's a way to join as a nonprofit. And if you are a nonprofit, you'll get a call from me, basically sitting down with you and talking about your new or emerging need that's pandemic in nature. And we'll figure out a way to partner with you. We'll figure out a way to help you with bandwidth, and so that you can better serve the folks you serve. So again, to be a Bham Strong Service Corps member, you just have to be over the age of 18 and live in the city of Birmingham. If you are a nonprofit, like the 30 plus nonprofits that we have right now online, if you are serving folks in Birmingham, and right now the nonprofits that we partner with, most of them are serving people who live in our communities throughout the city of Birmingham, and then they absolutely see value. And I've gotten testimonies from our nonprofit partners that just say that, guys, without your help, we wouldn't have been able to meet our clients' needs. And so we're excited to bring on new nonprofits daily. So again, if you are a nonprofit and you need a little bit of bandwidth, and please, and if that bandwidth need is based primarily on this pandemic and your response to it and things you are now having to face, then give us a call or go to bhamstrong.com or follow us again on Facebook and reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to set up a time we can come out and help you with those needs.
All right, well, I was about to say for more information, but you can't get it out right now. Let us just say, just final thoughts. What would you like to lead and just kind of, I hate to say, because one thing I always tell people about What's Happening Birmingham podcast is once I post it, it's here forever.
It's here forever.
What would you like people to know 6 months from now about what Bham Strong is doing? Just sticking to the,
Well, listen, normally I say ladies first, but she is going to close really, really big. Okay. So I don't want to go behind her. So if you don't mind, let me just tell you my one little thing that I love to leave people with. And that is, if you live within the city of Birmingham, and you find yourself in a position where you are now unemployed, underemployed, and you feel like you need just a little bit of a boost. And if you have a disposition where you really want to make a difference in the community as well, go to bhamstrong.com. Join the Service Corps, and I assure you, you will find more you'll be pleasantly surprised at how you're able to kill two birds with one stone again. And that is, make a difference in your community and be able to help meet some of your basic needs. So join bhamstrong.com. If you are a potential funding angel and you want to make a difference in the community, you're figuring out ways that they have this Birmingham Service Corps. We have over 1,000 people right now, and we've already employed over 325 folks. If you want to help continue this work, go to our website and give and donate. Also, if you are a nonprofit partner and you find that you are having a harder time reaching the people that you serve that need help the most, by all means, partner with us. If you're in education, if you're in healthcare, and you believe, like we believe, that economic sustainability and public health is the key to making Birmingham stronger in the future, please take a look at bhamstrong.com. And that's my primary thing is I want folks to know about it, and that's why I'm here with What's Happening Birmingham.
All right, Suzanna?
You expect me to follow that up? No. I don't know about that. No. I know about that. I would just close. I think Ken has done a great job explaining, what we do, why we do it, and pretty much anyone's going to fall into one of those categories. And if that's you, we hope to hear from you. And I think what this comes back to is recognizing that this is a really challenging time in Birmingham, in cities all across the country. And the individual level. I mean, folks are sitting down to the dinner table and they've got more on their minds than they have in the past. And it doesn't mean that everything here is brand new. I mean, there are folks I think who've had a hard time for a while. We know that in any community, There are people struggling with unemployment, with poverty, with some of the needs that can make there be so much, this crisis gets so much riskier because people are already coming from a platform that may have some cracks in it. And our real goal is to, empower the Birmingham community to start to strengthen that foundation, to continue the work that's happening all over, that has been happening for years, to strengthen that foundation. So we hope that, anyone listening to this podcast, anyone that's part of your audience, kind of feels the call to action and a desire to serve with us. And we really encourage them to get in touch so that we can make that happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Suzanna, Ken, thank you for coming on there. You all are welcome to come back in the future and talk about this great organization. Thank you all for the T-shirt. I know you got your pub.
No, let's by all means. There you go. Birmingham Service Corps, that is us all day long. Bham Strong, take a look at us. It's not just a hashtag or the spirit of Birmingham, but we are making a difference in the lives of folks. And by the way, just for the record, Suzanna and I work in a very close office space. We both have been COVID-19 tested, so we are okay. So again, continue to practice social distancing. Thanks, Jarvis, for having us.
Thank you all for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all for the work that you all are doing for the community. Everybody, we're going to make it through this. If you need help, there are resources out there. All you got to do is Google, or if you're a local business, they will call you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Please check out what'shappeningbirmingham.com for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank y'all again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.